Welcome to the big show, everybody. We are back. The Savage Patriots is back with a special guest. Um, just a little for those of you who have been around for a while, at least have followed me, you may remember Simon. You may. And if you do remember Simon, then you also remember the tokens. We used to have a podcast together called Token. The videos are still up. The channel is still active. We may actually still do some stuff on that once in a while. Go back. But if you have not remembered Simon, I think you'll end up liking him. He's here as a guest today. He's trying to get his podcasting career back up and running. And we are glad to welcome Mr. Simon the Pine.
Thank you.
Online.
And most people know him as what?
The Fat Jew.
The Fat Jew on TikTok.
He is called the Fat Jew on TikTok. And if you don't follow him on TikTok, it's not a surprise, because if you find him today, his account might be gone tomorrow. So don't worry about it.
It's like my account lives in a cave, and you got to find it. You really got to want it.
You got to look.
It's like the dark web. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's worse than me. I think he's worse than me in terms of how many accounts have you had so far?
I'm on 47 right now.
Okay, so you're 5 ahead of me after my 3-month sabbatical. So yeah, we're known for being.
And I'll tell you this much. Now with what's going on, they're going to be going again soon, because they took a break. Yeah. Like there was a while where I had my account was fine, no issues, but I feel some bands
There's
coming.
Something brewing. I feel a storm of brewing, and I'm
gonna go get some more stripes. You know what I mean?
It's coming. It's coming.
We shall be discussing. I'm gonna speak for me right now, because bro told me to make sure I separate myself from the group backstage. He told me to separate myself so that y'all don't think I'm speaking for the other 4 faces on the screen. I'm gonna have a very hard time not laughing, 1, and 2, not going completely ape on some of these people. Okay. So I'm just putting it out there right now that if the content gets to that point, you're going to see me either start laughing at their demise and stupidity, or angry that they're okay. I just want to make sure I put that out there for me. Now, my views do not reflect the other 4. They're just mine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, is that good enough for you, bro? Does that separate me?
Oh yeah. I mean, this is a free speech platform.
No. Because if I had used my free speech and said I represent you, all of a sudden I'm the bad guy. I'm trying to separate myself. I'm going to be a separatist today. Okay, segregation abounds today.
Yes. It's like the commercial. He just said what he said. It's almost like, when they fast forward the stuff at the end of the commercial. That was his fine print. He was like, I'm not involved in this.
Indeed, all the side effects of my statements are in that little blurb there. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the crux of our discussion, and we'll lead off with something to break the ice very nicely. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. In honor of the title today, I think it's only fitting that we begin today's show with a humorous bit, and the humorous bit more so along the lines of what other countries and their freedoms mean to people who identify as LGBTQ. Because I think people in America that associate themselves in that class think of themselves as elite for some reason, and that everyone else in the world would love to welcome them home and into their house, and America is the most hateful place on earth. So in honor of those people that think like that, here we go.
We bring in the studio this morning one of the gay rights activists, Mr. Should I call you Mr.? Pepe Julian Onzima. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for
Good morning.
Morning.
Why are you gay? You are gay. You are a transgender.
What shows that I'm gay?
You are a transgender, and
Yes,
you're
I
a gay rights activist and an outspoken lesbian, homosexual. How can I describe you? Now we're looking at the raging debate. You're a gay rights activist. Why should someone be gay? You're having a girlfriend.
Yes.
Do you perform the natural obligations?
I'm not sexually active right now.
So what are
By
you doing with
choice.
this lady?
By choice.
By choice.
Yeah. I've just not. I've chosen not to engage.
Doesn't that make you gay?
What do you mean? Doesn't that make me gay?
Thank you, Mika.
I am male and attracted to a female.
So who's gay?
So he is gay. Why are you gay?
Why are you gay?
Go
Such an
direct to the-
iconic
just
line.
Right
Oh
to
my
the
gosh.
point. Why are you gay?
He would
So
not
I
get
was
off.
looking at I was looking at that website. That's Uganda.
Oh,
Yeah.
Based.
look,
Here you gotta.
look, I don't care who you are. If y'all can't laugh at that, something wrong with you. It's his delivery. He don't even give the person seconds after the introduction. He just goes through, why are you
He was
gay?
right for
My
it.
name is so and so.
And the interviewee was not ready for that. That was the most awkward thing I've ever seen in my life. It is like, why are you gay? I never thought of it before until just now. Why did you ask me such an existential question? Man, that's right off the top. Why are you gay? Are you performing the
The natural obligations.
No, I am single by choice.
Oh man.
Well, then who is gay?
Thank you, Micah. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Single by choice.
Bro.
But I
anyway,
am male. And it's like, but it's confusing. Very
I
confusing.
figured we'd start off like that because we're gonna have to enter into some heavy stuff here in a minute.
Yeah.
Okay. Whether we like it or not, this topic has a broad spectrum of emotions from that to if you go over there, you're dead, and that's a pretty serious thing. So I think the best thing to do is to first of all break down what Palestine believes about LGBTQIA, LMNOP plus minus and squared root and all that stuff. So I don't think many of them consider what's going on over there,
Mhm.
or it's a bunch of what was it? Is it pandering or social
Virtue signaling.
virtue
all the above.
signaling? That's the
Moral
word.
grandstanding.
I'll tell you what, that video made me want to go find one of these things and find somebody with a sign that says that and be like, why are you dumb? Like, well,
Why are you
just
dumb?
directly, why are you dumb?
Who's dumb? You are dumb.
You need to say it in the accent too. Why are you dumb? Yeah,
Who is dumb? You are dumb.
you are dumb.
Do you perform the natural obligations?
Of stupid
By
people.
choice? No. Then you are dumb.
And you are dumb. So here we go. This is the Islam's point on homosexuality, and we know that
No.
Palestine is predominantly Muslim. You can't avoid that. Their whole identity is around that religion, and they are very staunch followers of it. You can't get them to stray from it. It's the whole reason why Hamas is the way Hamas is because they follow by text, document, book, word, all of it, the Quran. People can hate that all they want and say that's not what the Quran calls for, but if you read the Quran, it says it in there.
Yeah.
I mean,
Plus
I
a
don't know.
whole lot more.
I don't know how you would get around that, but hey. Recently, a man claiming to be an imam appeared on Australian TV and news programs providing his commentary on the significant core topics of Islam. The Australian National Imams Council strongly believes in the freedom of speech and the right of people to freely act in this country without compulsion or violence. In addition, ANIC also believes in a constructive dialogue and the right to express religious views. Therefore, it is in ANIC's moral and religious obligation to address sensitive topics for the purpose of fulfilling their scholarly duty, trust with Allah, and preserving the Islamic identity that was revealed to us through the Quran and the Sunnah. ANIC affirms that the Quran has been very clear on important and core matters of Islam. And from among these topics is the practice of homosexuality. It has been recently claimed that there is nothing in the Quran that clearly states its Islamic position on the practice of homosexuality. This claim is utterly untrue and falsified. Real quick, so does the Bible. Anyway, Islam's position on homosexuality has always been clear and what's that?
Perspicuous.
Yeah, perspicuous.
Precipitous.
From
Yeah,
the time of the revelation of the Quran to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, 1400 years ago, to this very day, the Islamic perspective is also consistent with Judaic and biblical principles that's stipulated by the Holy Scriptures. Like I said, true. From the Islamic standpoint, homosexuality is a forbidden action, a major sin, and anyone who partakes in it is considered a disobedient servant to Allah that all acquired his displeasure and disapproval. This is clearly stated in the three main sources of the Sharia, the Quran, and the Sunnah. And the consensus of all scholars, which extends from the time of the Prophet till today. There has never been any debate or discussion regarding this viewpoint amongst the scholars, past or present, simply because the matter was always comprehensive and immutable. ANIC, representing over 200 imams across Australia, strongly reject any claim that the ruling of the practice of homosexuality is not clear in the Quran. It stems from absolute ignorance of Islam and its principles. Now, with that said,
there you have it.
With that said,
it's not a minority opinion either.
I have a question for the Queers for Palestine. Are you saying that you're hoping that because of your sexual orientation, your words will mean more because you support them, or it don't matter if they support you, you support them because you're that much of a good person? Or are you saying that the people in Palestine welcome your support? Does anybody know the answers to those questions at all?
I would definitely ask him for sure. I would definitely give him a one-way ticket and see what happens.
Test the theory.
Yeah,
Test
you know
the
what I mean.
theory,
Just give him a hat that says press. You know what I mean? Hey, listen, you want to be involved? Go see how they're doing. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I don't know if you'll report much, but I mean,
it's just one of those things. Like the whole idea of intersectionality has never been a cohesive thing. Like there are so many contradictions in their ideology that they don't see it. Like the fact that they espouse the whole like defense of Islam as Islamophobia and the Muslim identity as being part of this minority community, when in fact the Muslim religion, the Islam religion, Muslims in general are not a minority religious group in the entire world. They are a majority religious group in the world. A large portion of people are Muslim.
Yeah.
So they don't need your protection, for one. And two, they don't agree with the same things you agree with. The liberal ideology has never and never will be compatible with Islam. Simple as that.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I'm pretty damn sure.
All right, let's find out if that works in real life. This is also part of the humor. I'm sorry to say.
Sterilizing kids that you support. Why do you think we should sterilize kids?
Why do you think you have the right to control a child's body?
What's a trans body?
A child's body. You're enforcing the parents' control over a person's body.
So, are you familiar with the facts about this, about how children are being sterilized?
I don't think you're familiar with the facts of this. You're not familiar with this.
Really?
Yeah, your facts are incorrect. Your facts are incorrect.
Like what? What's incorrect?
Children are not being sterilized.
Oh, really? So I'm filming right now, but I can bring up the consent forms that these children signed with the gender clinic, where it says right on there that puberty blockers and prostate hormones are sterilizing. This isn't some secret knowledge. All the trans health experts themselves will tell this to you.
Completely public. I mean, the drug that's used is triptolin. Triptolin is the exact same drug used to counter castrate pedophiles and sex offenders, used to sterilize people back in the 70s and onwards. It was originally developed to treat cancer.
I have a question for you. Why do you feel the need to intimidate you?
Oh, I was just walking by and you called me an effing fascist. So
yeah, because
I thought you might like to have a conversation. So again, what is fascist about trying to protect children from irreversible harm?
You are actually causing children to commit suicide with what you are propagating right now.
So this is what I hear every time I talk to some mass trans activists like yourself. The only thing they can ever say is that kids are going to kill themselves if we don't mutilate and sterilize them. But there's no data to support that at all. In fact, if you look at the only studies that have ever been done.
If you look at the rates of trans suicide and trans mental health for kids who need this life-saving care.
Life-saving?
Yes, life-saving care. It's life-saving.
How so?
Because without it,
they would die.
They would be fucking miserable. They would And
you just told me a minute ago they were all
suicide.
killing themselves.
Many of them do. Many of them do
And
commit
you've got
suicide.
some data on this, do you?
I don't have it on me at the moment, but I have seen these studies and I have
Have you?
read these studies. Yes, I have.
Well, maybe you could send them to me later because I've been.
I do not want to have any contact with them.
Oh, so you don't actually want to prove any of your points because you actually have no evidence for anything.
Here we go.
You know about half of these
This
kids?
guy is trying to propagate anti-LGBTQ propaganda. He's trying to tell children that they are not allowed to be trans.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, they're not. They're not.
Yeah, they're not.
The lead up was perfect.
Oh, man.
I did not want to interrupt it. Okay.
Oh, I was honestly wondering why this was in the segment, and then in the end, it's like, oh, I get it now.
I get it. The lead in was perfect because this is how they are. They're very adamant about their point, and then a pro-Palestine person was like, "Don't you agree with me?" No.
You weren't supposed to say that.
Perfect.
Did you see his reaction though? He could have swore he had an ally because he's out there. He's pro-trans and he's pro-Palestine, and he thought that their stances were connected, and they're not.
Yep.
They can't stand that stuff, and they
Yep.
right there for the whole world to see. No.
Yep.
Oh!
His whole heart just dropped out of him.
You know, like that old computer sound from Windows. Doom, 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 doom. What does that sound? You know that computer sound?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
It's like
Windows
it's like
XP.
getting
Yeah.
it's like getting into a fight thinking you have backup coming, and then they start beating your ass. You know?
Come
They were
help
just
me.
there
And
to
then
help.
the
They
other
were
guy.
just there to help. Like they were there to help you.
Yeah.
The American.
It's
The hilarious
like,
part. Go ahead. Sorry.
no, I was gonna say it's like you're in a fight, right? You're getting jumped by a bunch of dudes, and then you're like, call the cops in, and the cops come in and they start beating you too. That's what it's like.
The hilarious part.
And you know, when it comes to like, especially in America politics, and you know, we got so many different sides of everything. You know, we're just all over the place. We're like a dang insane asylum here in America. But they need to show more content like this. And it's out there.
Yep.
You get these people with these black masks wearing freaking cowards out there, Antifa, who think somebody's on their side, and they're not. And it's hilarious to see their reaction every time. It's hilarious.
The literal guy, the dumb white liberal kid was sitting there going, "Hey guys, look at me. I'm an ally." And then the women, the Muslim women were like, "No, we don't care. We disagree with you." He's like,
You were saying this is what we heard when he looked away.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's either that or the bum bum.
He's like, must go back and download new talking points. Those don't work.
No.
man.
The other part to this is that
was so good.
And I'll get to this too, because Mr. Brown, wants to link another people into this as well, because they're also joining the bandwagon of the Queers for Palestine movement. Okay.
It's trendy. Don't you know it's trendy?
These people don't understand, or at least they don't seem to. Let me not assume. They don't seem to understand that the people they think they're supporting would never, ever, ever support them. Not even just because of their lifestyle, but because of where they live. Okay, they're not pro-American in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Don't even want your assistance or your backing. No. But you're over here rebelling, thousands strong, talking about free Palestine. Even the ones that are over here that have migrated from Palestine to the United States, half of them would not be welcomed back home because they migrated to the great devil.
Yeah.
I don't know if people understand that. You just left your homeland to come over here to take the great devil's land and talk about them and hang out with them and be one with them, and then you stem up free Palestine, but you left us. This is this next clip is in the UK, but that's where most of the crap is happening anyway. And this is in my statement to the other group, as opposed to the LGBTQ, the other piggyback group, black people. This is how they would treat you. Okay.
Shame on you! 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 Shame on you!
They're just trying to go eat.
Mm-hmm.
Just a black family trying to go eat. Shame on them for what? For not being part of the protest.
I don't know about you, but like I've never seen, the opposition have, a song fest and then yell at somebody for not singing the songs.
Yeah.
Like what? I'm just saying, I saw a video earlier about how they found a launch site for rockets at a mosque.
Mm-hmm.
Like I went to school in Israel for a while. Like I've never seen my rabbi shoot rockets when I was praying. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it was probably incense.
Yeah. It's that whole mindset, especially the left. It's the whole mob mentality. If you're not with us, you're against us. If you don't think like us, you're against us. If you don't agree with us, you're against us. So
if
it doesn't matter.
Vote for me, you're not.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what they think. They can think it's okay to eat buckets of poop. If you don't agree, they'll just come up with some fancy name to call you because you don't agree that we should save the environment by eating our own crap. You know what I mean? So they don't want individualism. All this is Marxism across the board, whether it's Islam, whether it's leftism, whether it all falls under one umbrella. It's socialism, Marxism, and communism at the end of the day. It's just different branches of it. So, and if you don't agree, it's the collective mindset, and the collective mindset destroys a country. This is why we need more individualism. They don't want individualism. They want collectivism. And if you don't believe with the collective, they do things like they did to those black people.
Hive mind.
It's a hive mind.
Right. Yeah.
And that's the problem that I was bringing up earlier, is that the intersectionality has too many contradictory beliefs for them to actually work. You can't you can't mash up a bunch of ideologies and expect them to work properly. It's not going to happen. Like Islam and LGBT is not compatible in the least. And what that guy found out is they are not your allies. They have their own things. They might be in the same voting block as you, but that's only because they've been lied to this entire time.
Mm-hmm.
They actually realize what voting block they really belong to, but it's not the same.
I said before that the Palestinians, and now look, I said before, I don't have a side in this. I don't have a side because I have a religious view about it on both ends, and I am watching something of what rebellion does, and I'm watching something of what hating God does, and they're both clashing right now. So, but I can also tell you that there are children that have no side in the fight because they don't have intellect enough to care about the fight, that are being harmed in it, and I can always talk about that. That's not a problem for me to talk about or argue against. The problem I see here is that there are evil doers on both sides that will use the plight of children for their own agenda.
Yeah.
And you're seeing it in full force. In this case, it's things like this. Okay. And this is just factual stuff. And they videotape themselves doing this. Okay. So this is not something abnormal. When they chant stuff like this, I want you to realize the oxymoron here. The people in America that are defending the people in Palestine are defending a people who hate them for being in America.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you make that make any sense in any platform on any world stage. I don't know how you make that make sense. I'm literally rooting for the person that hates me to come kill me and wishing for their freedom to do so.
Yeah.
And the problem and the reason things like this happen is because the modern day American generation has been taught to hate their own country. It's constantly put on TV. It's constantly put in the news. It's taught in academia. It's taught to them that our country is bad. We've done all this stuff where we occupy countries. We take over countries. We're colonizers and all this. So in their brain, they hate living here. And they all have this kind of rebel mindset. You know what I mean? So any type of rebellion they see that's a rebellion against something they agree with, they're going to jump on it, whether they hate them or not. Now, what these dumb kids in America need to understand, let's say in an imperfect world, Islam got what they wanted. They got America. Let's say in an imperfect world. Do you really think they're going to keep you around and you're just going to be sitting at the dinner table with them? singing Kumbaya. No, you're not. They have rules. And if you don't abide by their rules, they're going to show you why you need to abide. But they don't think like that. They think everything's just going to be hunky-dory. Oh, Islam is it's taken up. No, it's not going to work like that. And they're laughing at you. They're laughing at you.
There's a good correlation with that. Look how when the what was that show? Where fundamentalist Christians take over and they're like doing the whole breeding thing. I can't remember what it was called now. Anyway, point is that Islam in these religious fundamentalist countries are the exact same way. Like they complain that the Christian fundamentalists are going to take over and they're going to oppress women and minorities and all this stuff. Is like, yeah, but those already actually exist now. They're in majority Muslim Islamic countries where they have a fundamental religious bent to them, where everything is governed by Sharia. Okay, like that thing that you're afraid of already exists, but you try to pair yourself with an ideology that is inherently goes against everything you believe.
Yeah,
like everything. And these people are religious extremists, and they will not care. They will use you for their own means, the same way you will use them for your own means. It's the same thing. And so, like with the whole thing with Gaza, is that the only reason they're complaining is that they hit somebody in the face, then they got upset that they're getting hit in the face back harder than they hit them. That's the only thing here. Is like they would be celebrating if there were more Jews dying.
Yeah.
In the same way, it's like they're complaining they're getting hit in the face now because they're like, oh no, it hurts. It's like, yeah, that's what happens when you start a fight you weren't ready for. Like, what did you expect was going to happen?
Or against a force that's bigger than you.
Right. It's like, I don't want the kids on either side to get killed, but like at the end of the day, these are the people that you supported for decades. And they started this fight with or without your permission and caused all of this to happen. You cannot blame the Israelis for them wanting to annihilate this situation. Like, I don't see anything in that I mean, it's wrong in certain respects and right in others. All right. But I can understand why they view it this way. It's the same way that America viewed the jihadis after 9/11, right? We wanted vengeance. We wanted absolute destruction on that. We can go into detail or whatever that was, but the most citizens after 9/11 felt the exact same way that the Jews feel now in Israel, right? Same exact way. I understand it. But they are losing the PR war.
The analogy I use is that if someone is trying to break into your house and come for you and kill you, and having a child strapped to the chest, like, and walk into your house, like, what do you do? Because they're trying to kill you. You have to defend yourself. I mean, it's either them or you. You know what I'm saying? So, like,
it's a tactic, and it's always been used,
right? Because they use your heartstrings,
and it's no different than a leftist tactic. It's no different than a leftist tactic. They reach out to emotions and hope that the emotions supersede your intellect. When you looked at what happened, you mentioned this, Coy, at 9/11, right? And we're not talking about the details of who started it and who conducted the act. We are talking about aftermath, right? Aftermath of the attack, regardless of who did the attack. The whole idea was who was blamed. And the American people saw a certain person. The other side is that even if they didn't do it, there were Palestinians who were rejoicing that it happened.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
And they were happy to be on the news speaking it. The same way they are today. If you are not a member of Hamas, but you lived in Palestine, there should be statements done by you in the public forum denouncing it, but you don't see that because they're not denouncing it. There are people on camera with their own phones, because they have phones over there, showing images of dead Israelis and rejoicing over it. Say what you want about Israel, about their so-called genocidal plot against the Palestinians. I have not, nor have I ever seen an Israeli, a Jew, anyone celebrating the death of a Palestinian. If you have proof of that, show me. I want to see where they're in the streets having photos and pictures of dead Palestinian babies and women being raped in the walls of Jerusalem or around anywhere near, and celebrating it on camera. If you can find that for me, then I can agree with you that Israel and Hamas are one and the same.
And to go back to Simon's point about pulling on the heartstrings, you guys, and we always talk about pay attention and just open your eyes and see past the illusion of the media, right? Think about this. Whenever there's a mass shooting in America and children are killed in those mass shootings, do they ever show pictures of the children, bloody bodies? Do they ever show that? Do they ever show the aftermath of adults in these school shootings, in these mass shootings? Do they ever show that? Why do they think it's okay in our media to show dead bodies of children and adults and women and children from other countries and blast it over the TV? They're pulling on the heartstrings. And only way for them to get us to separate in this country is to pull on those heartstrings. So they flash all these pictures of things they know that are going to affect people to get you to pick a side. Picking a side causes a division within our own country. So think about that when they do this. Everything they do is for a reason. The reason is to get you to pick sides and to cause that division in our country, which is happening right now because we're all falling for it. This is why people like myself and other people I know are staying out of it. I'm standing neutral. I don't want killing on either side. I feel for the people on this side dying, and I feel for the people on this side dying. Do I think somebody's messed up? Yes, I think one side really messed up and they're getting what they got. But I don't want to see it.
Right. It should stay over there. If it's happening over there, let it stay over there. Now, the link I want to make is between, and we had spoken about this a couple of days ago, maybe last week sometime, about the whole BLM adoption of Hamas. And for people who don't realize that, like Bro said, it's a communist agenda. The entire thing is based in communism. And for people who don't understand communism, they will never understand that the goal of communism is extinction. People may not want to admit this, but there's always one or two people at the helm telling you what you can and cannot have and telling you that it's for the greater good, while they're the ones benefiting from you not having. If you need to look at Cuba, and you won't need to ask any more questions. This individual, just real quick, he says he is a communist in his profile. And this is what he said. The biggest fear of a settler American throughout history is 5 black men standing in a room at 3 a.m., in his room at 3 a.m., who have come not for discourse or beg or to plead, but to collect what is due in blood and treasure. They know that we have the ability to bring this country to its knees. And in the bottom, he says, but do you, someone will ask him, but do you condemn? He said, no, actually, I hope they effing win. Get out of my face. Now, I've said this before, and I will say it again. To the ones that want to listen, Black America, do not let fools like this get you out of your intellect and into your feelings and get you jacked up. They are hoping that you can somehow pull off a Haiti, and you cannot. You are not going to Toussaint your way out of this one, regardless of how you feel. If you think you're going to get up one day and enter people's homes and just feel like you're going to take back what's yours, I'm gonna give you a little bit of advice.
Try that.
You're going to end up like Hamas. You're going to end up like the Palestinians. You're going to end up like everyone else who has rebelled against a power bigger than them. There is a certain thing in self-defense, okay? While they say size doesn't matter, you also have to make sure you pick your battles wisely. Here's my problem. I can take on one big guy. See, he has 50 pounds on me. Isolated, I think I can stand a chance. 5 big guys, I'm asking to die. You are the equivalent of walking into a room by yourself with 5 guys, 100 pounds in the positive over you. And you're thinking you're just going to waltz in there and win. You are not. And if you look at how things are going, they are pushing for you to do that and hoping that you try and follow suit what Hamas did. Here's the problem. The same result that Hamas will end up with, which is the eradication of the entire species called Palestinians, which is what will end up if this continues. Trust and believe there'll be no more Palestinians to fight. If Israel does what it's wanting to do, there will be no Palestine left, there will be no Palestinians to ask for land. Israel will take it all. If you decide to go against Americans who are here and have done you no wrong, you are going to end up way less than 40 million. Way less. So do not try it, please, for the love of all that is holy. And if you care about yourself, don't do it. Do not give in to your emotions. Logically think this through. Hamas didn't, because they operate out of a psychosocial kind of crazy behavior, and they think, death to the infidel, and they go in. The problem is there's a bigger force that they're running into, and there's a buzzsaw, and they're going to get decapitated. They may not like the end result, and the world may not like it. And you can bring the UN all you want in this. It's not going to work. I'm just asking people to logically think this through.
I'm just saying we don't decapitate. You know what I'm saying? We stay away from that.
If I call Hamas a snake, they're going to decapitate the snake.
Okay, I got you.
I'm not talking about physical, individually getting decapitated, but your entire movement is done.
Right.
Yeah.
You won't have to worry about what land is yours after this. Not enough of you.
And here's how you know, like, a lot of these so-called radicals in America are just virtue signaling. Let's say exactly what Marlon said happens. Israel goes in there and just annihilates everybody. Say, done. You're over. All the people that were protesting are going to go in their little holes, their little basements, and you're never going to hear from them again.
Yep.
You won't. This is all just virtue signaling. The minute this gets off the radar, you won't see none of them anymore. They're just going to go back to living their normal lives. So they better be very careful, especially about poking the bear. There are a lot of sleeping Americans right now that are just sitting back quietly, and they're watching, and they're waiting for you to jump. For that little BLM clown that looked like a female, try that in my house. Try that in any of our houses. Try it. Just please try it. Because I don't ask questions, man. You're going to walk into the wrong house, and they're not going to ask no questions. They're not. So be very careful what type of threats you put out there about taking what's yours. Because you're going to walk in, and they're going to show you what's yours real fast.
There's a couple things I want to point out with that, and like Marlon's right, because senior leadership in the Israeli government are actually pushing for just taking Gaza completely, like pushing them into Egypt, right? Like this temporary evacuation, as they like to say in this operation, they're done. Yeah. This was the last straw for the Israelis. Like it was the last straw. They're not going to have this happen again, and that's what Hamas keeps threatening. Is they're going to do it over and over again until they annihilate everybody. Is their ideology. So how do you fight against an ideology that wants your entire eradication? It's either you eradicate them or they eradicate you. There's no solution here. So like the people that are calling for ceasefires and humanitarian pauses and all this is like you are dealing with a conflict where both sides want the eradication of the other. There is no solution here other than letting it play out and who wins. That's period. And the second thing I want to point out with what Marlon said is that these people keep giving white supremacists, actual neo-Nazis and white nationalists, ammunition for their arguments that the leftists and these progressives are calling for the annihilation of white people, right? So the white genocide that they keep talking about, you keep giving them ammunition every single time. You keep saying it's not happening, but then you say dumb things like that is just feeding the fire. So if you want to get rid of racism, saying things like that is never going to get rid of it. All it does is solidify that they were right. Right? That's the way they're thinking. They're thinking this guy is showing his true colors. This is what they want with us. They want to do the same thing they're doing in South Africa with all the farmers. They're going to annihilate us just the same if we let them. And that's the same thing that they're facing here with Hamas and the Israelis. It's the same sort of ideology. It's not going to lead to anything good.
I want to read one last thing, since people may not believe the initial document I read about what Islam believes about LGBTQ. Now, I also want to make something clear. What I believe religiously is what I believe religiously. What I believe about God is what I believe. And I will proclaim it and say it until the day I die. And you don't have to agree with it. It is not a matter. My belief does not need your belief for it to be my belief. Just understand that. You can decide to live your life however the heck you want to live your life. But I will not stand by while you try to tell me I have to accept the way you live. You can miss me entirely with that nonsense. I do not have to accept the way you live. And I will not accept the way you live as normal to me. If it's normal to you, do what you got to do, boo. But here's the problem. While I and the majority of Christians might be as passive about it like that, I'm sorry to tell you that the Muslim faith is not. And here you have it for yourself. This is straight out of the Sunnah.
Zoom in a little bit, Marlon, can you?
Yep, I'm trying to get there.
Right.
There we go.
All right.
No.
Okay, that clear enough?
Yeah.
And those two of you who committed, we're talking about homosexuality. The shameful act, torture them both. I want you to understand something. They don't just want you to not commit the act. Their intent is by religious law, by the order of Prophet Muhammad, that you not only be put in a position of not doing it physically, but to torture you so that you will never want to do it again. So be pro Hamas and be pro Palestine all you want, especially you people that say you're queers. For I want you to do me one big favor, though. Put your money where your mouth is. Go buy yourself a ticket. Go over to Palestine and protest there with your stupid sign that says Queers for Palestine. See how many people get on your bandwagon and echo your sentiments to the majority of people there. Just go see, because you say you're right. Right? You are the voice of reason in this. Go over there, do it, and in fact, go and dress the way you're. Go wear their colors too. Make sure you wear that scarf. Make sure you put that on, and then hold your sign up. If they accept you, I will recant my statement. But something tells me you won't be coming back to tell me what happened.
Go to Iran and do your pride parade.
I mean, there was this guy a couple months ago that I think it was in Turkey or one of these Muslim countries. They arrested him just for looking gay, and the dude wasn't gay. They said he looked gay, and they arrested him. Can you imagine that? So do you really think if they're just arresting you for looking you look gay, you was a little metrosexual, you did your eyebrows, you're a pretty boy, we know how it is, man. You know. But if you're just one of those pretty boys that takes care of yourself, ain't nothing wrong with that. Hey, I do it, Manscaped. But you
can be, yes.
But if you don't think that they would not take you out for wearing your colors and running around and with your chaps and with your butts hanging out in your chaps, you're crazy, because they just arrested him just for looking. He was dressed normal, suit. He just looked gay.
I mean, I don't know if people are aware of what happened a few years ago when we saw online, like literally in Saudi Arabia, they found a few pro-homosexual people living inside the borders of their country. And public court of opinion, based on their own confession of being gay, these individuals were then brought up to a broken up building and they were given free flying lessons. I will let you connect the dot on what that means, folks.
That's
and
wasn't there a video of that though?
There was. It was floating everywhere.
That's a fact. That happened.
Here's the other thing: is that a lot of Palestinians that have escaped the Palestinian Authority and also Hamas that were gay escaped to where? To Israel. They went to Israel to get away from that ideology, and so they support the same ideology that wants to kill them.
They call that stupidity.
Yeah,
that's what.
Why are you dumb?
Why are you dumb?
Why are you dumb?
Why are you dumb?
So here's a question for people. If I were to engage in, let me start a different way with this. In America, you have all the freedom in the world to do and live as you want. The problem, and this is why I'm not all for unrestricted freedoms. Hear me out. The same way I have to evaluate a child, I have to evaluate certain people. And when you give a child certain freedoms without their knowledge of how to handle it, they go extra. You know, the inch and the mile theory. You give them an inch, they take a mile.
Mhm.
You tell a child he can have a piece of candy. Before too long, you turn your back and he has 5 and he's all sugared up before bed. Then he gets mad because he has to go to bed and he's all sugared up. And now you have to stay up with a stupid child that ate all the candy.
Yeah.
With the LGBTQ people, you had the freedom in 1965 to be who you were. It wasn't enough for you.
Mhm.
You wanted more. And then you wanted more and you wanted extra. You wanted to be treated better than everybody else. So that not only did you have the gall to try and step into somebody else's plight, Black people, you then tried to tell them that your plight is their plight because they started off gay too. And then that wasn't enough for you. Now you want marriage. So we gave you marriage. Now, I understand there are plenty of homosexual people who do not follow the LGBTQIA nonsense. I get it. I understand. People like Ant and people, there was a bunch of people I know that do not espouse the ideology of the LGBTQ community. They try to stay as far away from them as possible, and they don't try to force you to accept them. I want people to understand. I know there are theirs. They're not the loudest voice, though. Okay? We're talking about the squeaky wheel right now. You wanted extra upon extra to the point where you wanted to walk up in front of people and demand that they let you walk down the street in front of their children naked. And if they respond in kind like a normal parent would, where a stranger exposed himself, if we were to get up and have you introduce your stomach to your teeth, we would be the bad guy.
Yeah.
This is where you've gotten to. And you've been allowed to do it here. I just want the people to make this picture clear. You have been allowed to and been enforced by the Democrats to be anything you want and do anything you want. And anyone that says anything against you gets shut up. You are now going and backing the one nation outside of Saudi Arabia who in front of cameras would dismember you for just espousing that you had sexual thoughts about the same sex.
And celebrate it.
And so I don't know if I'm going to reach any of you. I highly doubt it because you're steeped in stupid and ignorance. But for the few that might listen, no one has ever gained benefit from egging on their demise. You are begging the one region of people that hate you with a religious passion, and that's the biggest you can get. They hate you with religious passion, and they not only want you dead, they want to see you tortured before you die.
Yeah.
But if you want to continue doing this, I want to make something abundantly clear to you. If you ever run into, just like that little masked dude, if you run into the wrong one, thinking you are their ally, I am telling you now, it'll be on the spot. They won't wait until the camera is off to end you. And maybe some of you need to have that wake-up call. I hope not, but if that's what you need, I guess that's what you need.
And let's not forget, though, let's also not forget that there is definitely no equivalency between the worldview of Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. There is no equivalency whatsoever. Christianity and Islam, Christianity and Judaism, as far as I'm aware of, through my recent studies, is that they're not calling for, I'm going to say it one more time clearly for the slow people in the back. They are not calling for the torture of homosexuals like the way Islam is. You can't make that comparison. So people who try, you deserve to you deserve a curb stomp.
That's
It's silly to me. It's silly to me. Any closing thoughts, peoples? We can go around the room, bro. I think Lee just gave his. The Jew boy.
You guys know you know where I stand on this whole conflict. I mean, I'm very pro-American, and I believe that America has enough problems. And stop armchair quarterbacking unless you have some equity or something in that country, like family, friends, you live there, that's different. But if you've just been an armchair quarterback sitting here in America enjoying the fruits and labor and the freaking freedoms you have, and all of a sudden now you're a radical, pack your stuff, go over there and put your money where your mouth is. Show us how radical you are. Show us how much you want to free this country or help this country. Don't talk about it, be about it. There's some of us on here that have been on two-way ranges. And things change really fast when somebody else is shooting at you. So instead of doing this, show us, and then I might take you seriously. I'm just saying.
Period.
I think these youngsters need to. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
You can go. I'm going to be long-winded. So.
I think these youngsters need to like appreciate what they actually do have, and maybe spend like if they spent 10 minutes in a third world country. Now forget about the Middle East. Just somewhere other than America. You know what I'm saying? Where they don't have running water, or they, you know, the water that they drink's got who knows what in it. I mean, and they have no idea how good they have it. They have no idea how good they have it. And until stuff starts happening here, they're completely blind to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And they need to open their eyes and pay attention, because the same propaganda that's going on here, it's going on there too. That's why I saw this one video. Sorry, I'm not going to get too long, but I saw this one video where this Marine was talking about how when they were fighting out there, the groups of people that they were fighting, they would grab a child with them, right? So in case the kid gets hit, they can now take that child, parade them around in the town, and make more terrorists and say, look at what they did. Look at what they did to this child. And now you're creating more hate. And now if people are growing up and they don't know what's going on, they're going to see that and just, damn, they, you know, death to America. And then, you know, the cycle goes on.
Yep. And one more thing before Coy goes. People got to understand, you know, those of us that have been in these countries and, you know, fought the jihad, these people, and again, I'm neutral. I don't want people to think I'm picking sides, but I'm speaking truth. These people will kill their own people, parade them around, and blame the opposition. You know, if you're trying to flee, if you're one of these people, you don't want nothing to do with the fight. If you're trying to leave, take your family, you're trying to get out the country, they will kill you and blame the opposition and parade your child around as if somebody else did. Understand that this is all propaganda, like Simon said. This is all propaganda, and most of you guys are too smooth-brained to see past it.
I'm not saying all of it. I'm not saying like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, not all of it.
You know, obviously there's bad and good everywhere, but when you purposefully do that, you're not a good guy. I'm sorry. When you purposefully take a child with you, hoping that they would die so that you can use that as a way to get what you want, is sick. You're a sick individual.
Yeah, very.
Okay, you said something very critical. I did not realize the correlation between that and the abortion movement. They're doing the exact same thing. They kill a child in order to get a point across to somebody else. They are more than willing to murder children, to run around the place saying, "You see my womb, my womb, my womb." You're halfway to being a Palestinian and a Hamas sympathizer already. Don't worry about it. You're there.
How do you? It's one of the things. How do you live with people that are willing to strap a bomb to a child and send them after Marines or soldiers in the field? Been there, seen that. We did that for 20 years, and it's the same ideology we've been fighting for 20 years, right? It's the same sort of people that are willing to sacrifice, murder, and mutilate people to get their point across. It's the same people. It's just another fight of the same extension of 20 years that we've already been doing, right? So these people, we know who these people are as Americans, and like especially people that have fought in the sandboxes overseas. We know who these people are. We know exactly how they are. And that's never going to change. And the ideology that they have does not work in America, and it doesn't work in liberal democracies across the world. It will never be compatible with our ideology. And they are more than willing to kill you and take your land away from you. We showed a video of a German protester on the Hooch yesterday saying exactly that, is that we will take over your country, become the majority, and institute Sharia law how we see fit. Right? They do not care. So your ideologies of bringing in diversity and inclusion also means bringing in all of the bad behaviors and people that come along with that diversity. Not everything that is diverse is good, and not everything that is diverse is bad. But you need to understand the people you are inviting into your home, period. Because sometimes there are crackheads who will steal all your crap. Sometimes they're good people that will save you when you're down. But sometimes they will murder you and rape your body in your sleep. Yeah. Same time, you have to understand who your neighbors are. Not everybody's good, not everybody's bad.
The book says it. The Quran says that the goal is to make everyone a Muslim. And
Yeah, they're
if
just
you
gonna
don't become a Muslim, we kill you.
Yeah.
They're gonna let Jack Ripper come in because he's got a rainbow T-shirt on.
Yeah.
and so this is my point of view with the conflict is that if you want war, you don't get to complain that civilians are getting killed on your side when you started it. Same thing with Germany, right? They started the war and they can't be able to complain that they're getting attacked when they were putting Jews in concentration camps. It's the exact same correlation. I wouldn't feel sorry for the Nazis the same way I wouldn't feel sorry for Hamas when they started the fight to begin with. Okay? It's the same exact thing for me. And you say, well, what about the children? What about the Palestinian children? I feel for the Palestinian children. Why do you think I'm advocating for this fighting to be left alone? Because I don't want to send our children to war again for nothing.
Right. Yeah.
That's why we should stay out of it.
It's happening.
This is a conflict that is not going to resolve itself without one side being absolutely obliterated from one point or another.
Yeah.
Like that is why Israel is pushing so hard right now, is because they don't see they're ever going to get a second chance at obliterating them.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to take it as far as they can until they can't anymore.
Yeah.
And it's not going to stop. They're not going to take a ceasefire because it's not realistic.
Right.
And neither would you. Realistically speaking, America wouldn't either.
We've covered tons of wars on this channel.
Yeah,
and we've extensively gone through the wars that America has put their nose in overseas.
Yeah.
And at every turn, we've come out in the deficit when it comes to citizens.
Mm-hmm.
At every turn, we've come out with less than we went in. You can't prove me wrong with that at all. Every war we've gone in, we've come out negative, whether that be in reach or in bodies. And it's always a pointless, needless intrusion in other people's worlds that we had no right being in because we wanted something out of it. We didn't go into it because we cared about the people. Let's just be honest. The government went in there because they saw something they could get with the idea that, hey, we care. We're going to come in.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
This is just going to be another one of those things.
It's another funnel.
Exactly.
Funnel.
It's a funnel.
Yeah.
And so if people don't wake up to this yet, and realized that this didn't happen under another president because he understood that he had to internalize our struggle to fix what we have going on here first before we can even put a finger on other people. If you didn't understand that, you are the reason why America is hated.
Mm-hmm.
It's
and
you.
to all the momos who were sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. Go ahead. Say your point.
And to all the momos who were like, oh, Orange Man's gonna start World War II. Yeah, how did that comment?
But I know I'm gonna get Jay to his point, but real fast, the question you have to ask yourself is, and we've talked about it on this show many, many times. This war has been going on longer than some of us has been alive, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth for years. Why now? Why the protests now? Why the push to go to war now? How come we didn't do it last year or the year before? They were killing
it's the
people
only
dying.
play they have left.
That's right. So you guys got to stop jumping on these trends and virtue signaling and jumping on something. Because if you didn't have this energy 2 years ago, you're full of crap. Real talk.
They want the country to burn. They want the country to burn because they can use that as a way to shut down everything. More chaos. It's just it's the way it is.
Matter of fact, go look at your bank. That's a big thing right now. How about that? I'm just saying.
So, all I'll say is I had a train of thought. All I'll say is that and never mind, forget it. I lost my train of thought.
Shells, Ramadan, exactly. Trust me, I know all about it. So yes, trust me.
Mm-hmm.
It is an appalling thing, and people who are uneducated will give in to the masses' requirements of them. This is why they had to destroy the American education system so that people would be less likely to do their own research. And if you do your own research, you're called all kinds of names.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so a conspiracy theorist or something stupid like that. Well, let me be that, and I'll be educated, and you'll be a dummy. How about that? That's how we're gonna live it. On Wednesday, we'll be back. There's a whole lot of things going on, including the court hearing right now with President Trump, and his lawyer came out this weekend, and she excoriated Fawny Willis. It wasn't very difficult to do that to her anyway, because she's a moron. But
yes,
there's a ton of things going on. We haven't decided on a topic yet, but everything's in the hat for now. So,
Fat Jew, thank you, sir.
Yes.
No problem. Absolutely. I love doing this. So,
you see, Simon's an example of what it takes to be on the podcast. I know plenty of people say they want to be on, but we have a standard that we want to hold up, because if we are not separate from the rest of the crew of people who do podcasts, we have to set ourselves aside, because we're different. We come with information that most people want to ignore, and that's okay. But that's the way we want it. So for those of you who might want to have a voice, you have a certain requirement that you have to meet first. Okay, just so you know, it's not us being pious. We have a standard, and if we don't hold that standard, we might as well be a TikToker named Consciously. Might as well. We might as well be Anthony Highland. We might as well
Unconsciously.
woke, yeah. So we might as well be a woke idiot if we're gonna just have no standards. So with that being said, don't forget to go to our site, our YouTube page, share the content as much as possible.
Buy some merch.
Get our stuff out, get some merch going. We have a new one that we might be coming out with, thanks to Mr. Brokich. I think you'll like it. If you can get me the picture in time, I can get that going.
I got some ideas if you want some.
Oh, please send
Let's
us
go.
backstage. Yeah.
I actually got like another logo made that I want to just like, if you can freaking
we
make
are all
something,
about triggering. We are all about triggering with our t-shirts. If it causes you to trigger galore. So go check out the merch shop. Get it for people you don't like. That's what I like to do. Send them stuff that they don't want to wear.
That's amazing.
And then they'll get stuck one day with nothing to wear. They'll be like,
nothing to wear. And then they gotta wear.
Right. I don't want to go outside with no shirt on.
I'm only going to Walmart.
Can you imagine a Blacktivist sitting there with a white adjacent t-shirt?
Oh man, that'd be.
No, you gotta get the one that's like, "Why are you gay?
Why are you gay?"
Yeah, that's a good. Why are you gay?
If I could get his face doing this, I might do it. Watch me cartoonize his face and put it on a shirt. They might tell me you can't have this hate speech.
Yeah,
watch
they're
them
probably
tell me
saying
hate
hate
speech. They're gonna tell me it's hate speech. Or I can
go
put
with
it.
Why are you dumb?
I'll put it, and I'll put the G upside down and the A with an accent over the top, and the E, put an E with an accent over the top, so it looks like it's Y, but it's not. I can make it work, so they can't tell me hate speech.
Why are you gay?
Why are you gay? Probably his face might suffice. If I could just get his face and put it on, they might know what he's saying.
I think we should, instead of playing a normal outro, ride out with that video one more time.
Yeah, let's do it. Go ahead.
Why are you gay?
Why are you gay?
And we just ride out, let that part play, and then be done.
Let me find it here, because I got it.
It's hilarious.
Before the video plays, folks, just like, share, comment, subscribe.
I'll give you guys a laugh before you roll, so you guys can roll around and pee your pants later on by laughing so hard. Brilliant. And then make sure you guys are screen recording. Remember, hit that little clip. If you got an iPhone, I don't know about Androids; those are peasants have, but I have an iPhone.
Nice, nice. I see you, bro. I see you. Okay.
Wow.
Well, that being the case,
listen, I'm cheap. I buy crap.
We're gonna bring it up, and in the meantime, Mr. Lee, you can take us out and I'll let it play, and then I'll clip it out. But we'll be off the screen, so you can enjoy it by yourself watching it, Mr. Lee.
Like, share, comment, subscribe. We'll see y'all Wednesday. Peace out.
Peace out.
Activists, Mr. Should I call you Mr. Pepe Julian Onzima? Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for
Good morning.
Morning to you.
Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay. You are a transgender.
What shows that I'm gay?
You are a transgender,
Yes,
and you're a
I am.
gay rights activist and an outspoken lesbian, homosexual. How can I describe you? Now we're looking at the raging